Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to listen to chapter 3 of the book Technologies Are the Arts. And the chapter talks about the science. Yeah, welcome ladies and gentlemen for a discussion now again on my book Technologies Are the Arts, which have been translated into Kiswahili, Teknolojia ni Sanaa. So I urge you to get all of the book. The Teknolojia ni Sanaa will enable you to learn a bit of Kiswahili if you don't know Kiswahili. And in my book, I have talked about technologies are the arts. I want to emphasize the word art. But if we want to know what is technology and to move forward towards technology and the technological development, we should know the difference between science and technology. You know, many people think that science is the application, technology is the application of science, but that is not totally true, because science came after technology. And so we are in chapter 3, which is called the science. And I would like to read a bit about a definition of science. Another definition of science is that it is a body of knowledge itself of type which can be rationally explained and reliably applied. This is one definition. Knowledge that can be rationally explained and reliably applied. So that is science. So if you know a lot, you are scientific, you know a lot. Our professors are scientific. But being scientific does not mean that you are going to have technology. Because technology is the way of doing things. One person said that science is about knowing, technology about doing. The problem is that many African intellectuals, they end up about knowing. They don't go to about doing. So science is about knowing, technology about doing. In the 19th century, it was used to mean a disciplined way to study the natural world, including physics, chemistry, biology, and geology. That was how it was taught in 19th century. That was the definition of science. In broad sense, science can be defined as reliable and teachable knowledge about a topic, thus including other areas such as computer sciences, political sciences, and social sciences. So science normally deals with finding reasons on why things happen and how they work. So that is science. I would like to discuss a little bit about the history of science. If you read my book, you'll find it in chapter 3, how science have developed up to now. And we have some eras, different eras of science development. The first era was in pre-philosophical. During pre-philosophical times, a science was defined as type of knowledge. In Latin language, it was called scientia, while in Greek it was called episteme, rather than a specialized word pursuit of such knowledge. So that is how it was defined during pre-philosophical. The Latin called it scientia. It was used to deal with knowledge. And then there was during that philosophical time, when there are philosophers like Socrates and Aristotle. Aristotle distinguished between science and practical knowledge for artisans and believed that theoretical speculations on the behavior of nature was meant for people of higher class of people, while skills for artisans providing a practical solution to the problem was meant for people of lower class. That's what Aristotle thought. That those people can give explanations and speculations are of higher class than the artisans who are constructing the buildings, who are making ships, who are making everything. And I think that is not proper. And that is the problem of many African intellectuals up to now. They think that if you know science, you are higher than the one who can do things. You are higher than a carpenter, than a mason, you are higher than a fitter and turner who is making bolts and spare parts for vehicles. You are higher than somebody who's doing welding. But when your car breaks down, you take it to somebody, you don't ask him whether he knows science or not. Do you ask? You do not. And therefore, if we want to develop technologically, we need to value very much the artisans. As I told you that technologies are the art. You need to have the arts of doing things. And then there was a medieval period. During the Middle Age, some of the ancient knowledge was lost. However, some of the knowledge was kept in books such as Latin Encyclopedia of Isidore of Seville. Some of the Greek texts were translated into Syriac and the Arabic. There was a middle time where, the knowledge, came to stand still. It was not moving forward again. But after that, there was a period which came, which was called Renaissance and early modern science. During the Renaissance or reinstatement, during the period, Galileo started several mathematical theories in order to study nature, but was highly persecuted. The bishops and the priests did not want to listen to what Archimedes was talking. But that was when science was being reborn again. During the period, a scientist known as Bacon introduced the need to study different aspects of nature using experiments such as heat, rather than assuming that a specific nature or formal cause was responsible for such behavior. Bacon argued of the need to use science to give inventions in order to assist improvement of the quality of life. So during that Bacon era, that's when now the scientists started working together with the artisans. Because before Bacon, the scientists were busy doing researches, and the technicians were busy constructing structures, constructing machines and everything. They were not working together. But Bacon, joined the scientists and the artisan or the technicians. And he raised the need of doing, experiments so that to make sure that they have the right scientific theories. Then after Bacon, there was Enlightened Age. Enlightened Age occurred during the 1700s, where emphasis was placed on reasoning rather than in order to critically analyze the previously accepted theory. So that is where Sir Isaac Newton came about, and Leibniz and others who developed scientific theories like the laws of motion and whatever. These were developed during the 1700s. And so I think for engineers, we are really applying the three Newton's laws of motion to solve problems in mechanical engineering, in civil engineering, structures, and whatever. Then in 19th century, there was Darwin who came and developed Darwin's theory and Dalton's theory. Then in the 20th century and beyond, during this century, theory of relativity by Albert Einstein was developed, which has resulted in development of nuclear weapons, satellites, and modern equipment. This was done in the 20th century. Now, I would like to give a history of some scientific theories which have resulted in technological developments. There is static electricity and magnetism. This was discovered in the 1600 after Christ. And then there was diffraction, which was in 1665. Discovery of diffraction led to development in optics, which led to fiber optic cables technologies in the 1880s. I'm astonished that the theories which developed the fiber optics theories came about in the year 1660. And this resulted in development of fiber optic technologies, development of intercontinental communications, cable TVs, and the internet. So the theories were discovered not now as we think, but it was in the 1665. That is when the theory of diffraction was discovered. Then there was the discovery of photovoltaic effect in 1839. Photovoltaic effects were discovered in 1839 and therefore led to technologies of making solar panels in the 1883. We are seeing a lot of solar panels now in Africa, but the theories were discovered in 1839. And so we have solar powered watches, calculators, and other devices. Then the strange orbit of Mercury and relativity. This was discovered in 1859, and this was followed by researchers which led to discovery of special relativity in 1905 and general relativity in 1916. Discovery of these theories led to satellite technology such as GPS and satellite communications. Can you see? The theories were discovered in the 18th, but now we have GPSs in the current century. Then we have got radioactivity waves. Radioactivity waves were discovered in 1887. These discoveries led to development of technology such as radio broadcasting in 1906 and telephone and television in 1929. Other discoveries include astronomy, wireless communications, and microwaves for cooking. Then we have got radioactivity, which was discovered in 1896 and led to innovations in cancer treatment and nuclear reactors in 1942. Then we've got crystallography and quantum mechanics. The theories on crystallography and quantum mechanics were discovered in the year 1900. This led to discovery of semiconductors in 1906. This discovery led to development of technologies for computers, telecommunication, wireless devices, and mobile phones. Then there's game theory. Discovery of game theory led to minimizing transmission of infection disease, increased the capacity in diagnosis of disease, and development of anti-cancer therapies. Then we study branches of sciences. Mathematics, statistics, and logic are defined as formal sciences, and are vital to be able to study other fields of natural sciences known as empirical sciences. What I would like to tell my fellow African intellectuals is that, many theories for what we are seeing currently were discovered before 1900. So we are not just required to brag ourselves that we understand the theories and whatever. We need to put the theories and translate them into solving our actual problems. And I believe we can do it. Please change your mindset. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to Chapter 3. Please don't miss Chapter 4 of the book, Technologies Are the Arts.